for bringing forward this private member's bill, and to indeed compliment Deputy Pat Buckley and her Sinn Féin colleagues for this progressive piece of legislation, which I expect will and should attract cross-party support. As a psychiatric nurse by profession, and as somebody who served with Senator Joan under her chairpersonship on the Future Mental Health Committee and across party lines on the all-party Oireachtas Group on Dementia, I know, Senator Devine, that you know your stuff. And I know that you are a very powerful advocate for the underdog, for people who are hard to reach, for making sure that voices that are seldom heard or not heard at all are indeed heard. You combine practicality, compassion, humour, I would say, and an unwavering belief in making real human rights for people who may be vulnerable and in trouble, not just pie in the sky. So I'm delighted to be here today to speak in support of your bill. Assisted decision-making is about honouring people's will and preference, not the paternalistic best interests concepts which for too long took power away from people and for too long made people's wills and preferences second order to the conveniences of others, or even to abuse, incarceration or exploitation. And I know of what I speak because I remember some of the treatments a close member of my own family received for her mental health conditions, including over-medication and electric shock treatment, which I very much doubted and doubt that she actually ever consented to, and whose mental health issues were largely created by a coercively controlling marriage relationship to someone, of course, of good standing in the world, but not so nice at home. So this bill's welcome focuses on people who experience mental health issues and their treatment under the Mental Health Act and the Criminal Law Act of 2006. This bill, if passed, will do a very important thing. It will remove the current exclusion of people with mental health difficulties under Irish law from having legally binding advanced healthcare directives provided for in Part 8 of the Assisted Decision-Making 2015 Act. This exclusion is contrary, as has been said before, to international human rights standards and the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability. Treatment is fundamentally about consent, and Section 83(2) of the 2015 Assisted Decision-Making Act clarified that an adult who has capacity is entitled to refuse treatment for any reason, even if it seems unwise to others or not based on sound medical principles or may even result in death. An advanced healthcare directive shows a person who has capacity to state what treatment they don't want in the event they lose capacity in the future. In this way, we can all provide now for our capacitous voice to be heard in the future. So to make an advanced healthcare directive in the first place, a person must have capacity, but it actually only comes into effect when we don't. As the law stands, an advanced healthcare directive does not have to be complied with if, when you lose capacity, you are detained under the Mental Health Act. And if your advanced healthcare directive relates to the refusal of mental health treatments. In other words, you can refuse antibiotics, but you can't refuse antipsychotics. This exception offends against parity between physical and mental health, and it actually overlooks that people with mental ill health, like people with physical health, are often accomplished experts in their own care. We often know best ourselves what's best for ourselves. So the exclusion of a person with mental health difficulties is discriminatory and cannot be fair, right or justifiable whatsoever. This bill would remove Section 85(7), this exception, and according to the Assisted Decision Support Service, which is in favour of this bill is a very good thing. Senator Devine very much compliments Deputy James Brown's 2018 Mental Health Bill, which received cross-party support in both houses. Deputy Brown's bill was in essence all about the empowerment of people with mental difficulties to have more choice and control over their treatment. Senator Devine's bill follows in the same vein and has the support of the Mental Health Reform and 75 member organisations. This bill is also supported by Safeguarding Ireland, who highlighted that this issue was raised as far back as 2014 in an expert report on the Mental Health Act. As previously mentioned, there is an argument that Section 85(7) is not in compliance with the UN Convention, Minister, that you fought so very hard for to be ratified. A person with mental health issues should and must have the same rights as all others relating to advance healthcare directives and more. So for the sake of, and with respect for people with mental health conditions, who must always be first among equals about their health and their treatment, I fully support Senator Devine's enlightened bill and wish it safe passage through both houses of the Oireachtas and into law for a better day, a more respectful day, a more equal day for people experiencing mental health in our society. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Kelleher. And now our next speaker, Senator Batchik. You have 8 minutes. Go ahead.